You're an NPC who woke up at 4 a.m. to do their morning coke ritual. Then suddenly, the dreaded 9 arrives, and now it's time to slave away at your 9-to-5 job that you probably hate. It's finally time to leave at 6 o'clock because you have mandatory overtime. Damn. You leave and it's congested traffic, so you get home at 9 o'clock. Damn. You have 3 hours left to enjoy your time. And now you're really pissed, and you need something to distract yourself from your life misery. A power fantasy. But which power fantasy is superior? Korea's or Japan's? Solo leveling is on top of the world for good reason. It's reinforcing why anime became popular in the first place, the power fantasy. This was new to the West, because while the West does have power fantasies, they're not as powerful as Asian power fantasies. And solo leveling has mastered the art of the power fantasy. Though, with One Punch Man Season 3 on the arrival, I question, which power fantasy really makes a man get bricked? No pause. Going back to the old days of Gundam, Fist of the North Star, and Dragon Ball, one thing they all share in common is a badass macho motherfucker. Kick ass, get drippy, and get booty. Starting with the main characters, Son Jin Woo is Saitama the Bald Bandit. Both started out as loser bait, a great self-insert, but I guess Saitama was never a loser, he always had that dog in him. While Jin Woo was the standard tragic underdog, getting kicked in the face, forced to eat everyone's shit, pitied by his peers but not respected, just weak as shit, a bum. Hell, he even died. Sort of. Both characters had their apex moment where they crashed out and broke their limiters. But the core difference is pity versus determination. Solo leveling is low-key a revenge story. The ant on the bottom of the totem pole that exists solely to get squashed is suddenly given godlike powers, and now he's climbing the ladder, throwing everyone else off the ladder while shitting on them. Then once Jin Woo reached the top, he made it his sole purpose in life to stunt on everyone. This is a rebellion against society. Jin Woo was supposed to be a loser that exists to kiss the boots of those above him, supporting other people's victories. Then when he served his purpose, his life goes extinct, forgotten and a nobody. Now suddenly he's him, and all the disrespect and indifference became glaze and jealousy. This is the ultimate underdog dream, if you're selfish. Jin Woo will literally let a bystander get traumatized in a near-death experience just to aura farm. Then he'll save them in the most ridiculous way possible. It doesn't matter that you have nothing to do with his misery. He doesn't know you. It's the fact that you exist that you must be humble. This man is a menace. And I low-key respect it because it's the ultimate ego. Jin Woo will be the best Blue Lock player, while Saitama is the inverse. While he does want to be respected, hence his goal to become an S-class hero, he will gladly give up his accomplishments to people undeserving of them to keep society rolling. This is a difference of maturity, because when Saitama got his powers, he was a grown man. So he has the wisdom to not let his power get to his head. Even though Saitama looks like a lazy bum from afar, he's actually a supportive role model who's constantly building up other heroes. He's so chill and content with life that he's fine with living in the ghetto. To be fair, that's because he can smack anyone who tries him. Jin Woo doesn't have time for this nonsense. He's all about solo leveling. This reinforces the difference between Jin Woo and Saitama's mentality. Even with his newfound powers, Jin Woo wasn't the top dog. He still had to grind. Hell, he almost died multiple times in his series. But who cares about that character? It's a power fantasy. What really matters is the aura. Jin Woo clears her. There's no arguing that. Son Jin Woo is the personification of aura. He studied aura in college and got a master's in it. And now Saitama has aura too, especially when he gets serious. But he's more of a chill, goofy guy. Jin Woo is constantly exuding aura. He could literally be taking a shit and it would be the most badass shit possible. And aura is legitimately important for making a good power fantasy, because the viewer can't feel like a badass himbo if the main character has no aura. That's why a lot of isekais fail, even though they are power fantasies. The best way to measure aura is not how wet it makes the viewer, but how hard it makes the side characters. This is another one where I think solo leveling is superior in, because while more and more heroes are beginning to realize Saitama's might, there's still so many people that disrespect and doubt the guy. Maybe that will change by the end of the series. While in Jin Woo's case, if you are a side character and you meet Jin Woo, you're going to be on his nuts. It's inevitable. Though that brings up the question, does side characters matter in a power fantasy? In solo leveling's case, whenever a new character is introduced, they're hyped to the heavens, only to get shot in the back and pissed on by Jin Woo. Then their character becomes irrelevant. Judging by solo leveling's enormous popularity, I think most viewers like this type of writing. It makes sense, it's a power fantasy after all. Personally, I'd rather the side characters have depth and independence outside of the self-inserts, like in One Punch Man's case. In One Punch Man, every character feels like a main character of their own story. It's insane. Hell, Saitama might as well be a plot device. He doesn't change much, if at all, throughout the story. This makes the world feel alive, because I actually care about the side characters and their journeys. Rather than being like, oh, Saitama's gonna save the day again, it's fine. This also relates to stakes. It's a power fantasy. Both series have low stakes, if we're being honest. But I think One Punch Man handled its stakes just a little better. Nowadays, Saitama is barely present in his own story. Most of the plot is seen through side characters' point of views. Though, the reception to this is a mixed bag. Half of the fanbase hates the direction because they came for One Punch Man. Personally, I love this because it elevates the stakes. Every time Saitama appears, you know the fight is over. And since Murata is a god tier artist, every fight sends a million neurons to my monkey brain. In solo leveling's case, there's zero stakes. Maybe in the beginning of the series where it felt like Jin Woo could lose, but now he obtained god mode, so nobody's touching him. The most important element of stakes is the loss of character relationships, aka the wifey. Both Saitama and Jin Woo has a lot of chicks fawning over them. Well, more in Jin Woo's case. And we all know every dude believes they will have a harem if they get ran over and dropped in the isekai. Even women feel that way. Probably a hot take, but I would say solo leveling handled the love interest better. Because in One Punch Man, Fubuki is one-sided simping and Tatsumaki is, well, Tatsumaki. Romance in a power fantasy is best handled in the background. Frankly, it doesn't need to exist at all, because most power fantasy authors suck at writing romance. Though at the end of the day, what really matters is the hands. Bombastic action, pretty flashy colors, impact frames. No good power fantasy can be successful without phenomenal action. Because power fantasies at their core is about an underdog, usually, kicking their oppressor's ass in the most epic fight imaginable. You want the viewer to ejaculate all their pent-up frustration of the world into a fictional dumbass getting their ass beat. If the viewer isn't jumping around like a crackhead in excitement, then you failed as a power fantasy author. Both One Punch Man and solo leveling excel at the fights, but unfortunately, only one has managed to keep its quality through multiple seasons. But to be fair, Murata is such a god tier artist that reading the manga feels like watching the anime anyway. Even so, strictly speaking in the lens of a power fantasy, solo leveling is superior with its fights. That's because Jin Woo is the only one who gets fights. While in One Punch Man, most of the great fights are from the side cast. That's why half the fanbase is disappointed in the direction, because they miss the old days of Saitama clapping everyone's cheeks. Overall, both are top-notch power fantasies, the best of the bunch. You won't get anything better from anime. It's just different flavors of peak. If you want a more selfish power fantasy, then solo leveling is your pick. If you want a more story-driven power fantasy, then One Punch Man is your choice. Personally, I chose One Punch Man because it's way more engaging, and honestly, I dropped solo leveling midway. Let's be honest, it's mid as fuck, but it's mid that hits. It's popular for a reason.